In the first scene, we see a girl running away from someone through the park. She hid behind a tree and saw that the pursuer was very close. When she looked out again, the dark figure was gone. Suddenly the pursuer appeared nearby and grabbed her, throwing into a pit. Some time later, Rain woke up in the pit and managed to climb out. It turned out she was actually in a hospital. Rain suffers from acute schizophrenia and has suffered another relapse. Only after a strong sedative did Rain fall asleep. Her parents, John and Michelle Burrows, asked the doctor what they could do to help their daughter. The doctor explained that this illness is incurable. Rain is feeling better now, but she will need to stay in the hospital for a while. The girl loves to draw. During a conversation with the psychotherapist, Rain recalled how she had been riding the school bus the day before. Then somehow she ended up in the woods, being chased by someone. Rain understands that she needs to take her medication, but it interferes with her ability to draw. The doctor warned her that after the next episode, she would be sent for involuntary treatment. Soon Rain's parents were able to take her home. This week had been hard for them all. Rain feels guilty toward her parents. They are doing their best, but each new episode is worse than the previous one. The girl is unable to control it. During the last episode, Rain trashed the room and harmed herself. Even now, her hallucinations continue. Her parents are emotionally exhausted. Michelle blames herself. The family is trying to return to a normal life. Rain has started drawing again, while continuing to take her medication. No one at school talks to Rain. The classmates are aware of her illness. Rain feels lonely. The teacher welcomed her to class. At one point Rain noticed that a cute classmate was looking at her. In the school cafeteria, the girls from the class started mocking Rain, saying there wasn't enough room at the table for all her personalities. Later, that cute guy, Caleb, approached Rain and struck up a conversation. The girl was confused because people usually avoided her. It turned out the guy was new, his family moved frequently. When Caleb suggested meeting up later, Rain didn't know what to say and left. While John was fixing daughter's room, she went to the pharmacy store and ran into the teacher there. Hastily buying her medicine, Rain headed home. Any sudden movement frightens her now. Rain diligently takes her medication. John, who is a chef, was offered the opportunity to cook for a large banquet, but he declined. His daughter comes first for him now. Rain advised her father to accept the offer because she was genuinely feeling better. Looking out the window, Rain saw a little girl in the house across the street. Michelle reminded the daughter not to lock her room. It could be too dangerous. Rain shared with her mother that everyone at school thinks she's crazy, even her former best friend Alexa. Michelle supports the daughter as much as she can. Rain decided to focus more on drawing to distract herself from sad thoughts. In the morning before school, Rain was drawing a portrait of her mother. No one spoke to her on the school bus. Rain tries to mend her relationship with Alexa, but it's in vain. Caleb is the only one who talks to her, although the girl wasn't particularly eager to befriend him. However, Caleb was persistent and offered to give Rain a ride. Eventually she agreed. The teenagers chatted about various things. Caleb wants to study quantum physics in the future. It started to rain. Caleb stopped the car because the windshield wipers weren't working. He noticed that the girl was nervous and assumed it was because of the weather. Even her name speaks for itself. The girl said she just wanted to go home. When the rain ended, Caleb took her home. Rain thanked the new friend for the day. To be honest, it was her best day of the year. Rain understands that she must honestly tell Caleb about her illness because friendship should be built on trust above all. John has the banquet today, but he doesn't want to leave his daughter for too long. Rain assured that she was fine. Michelle once again reminded her daughter not to lock the door and asked where she had been for so long today. Rain admitted that she had made a friend. Nightmares and hallucinations continue to haunt her. She thought she heard the girl from the neighboring house calling for help. The parents assured that it was just her imagination because the woman next door doesn't have any children. Rain insisted that something bad had happened. The father promised to check it out personally. The next day, they went together to the neighboring house where that teacher, Danny McConnell, lived. Apologizing, John explained that his daughter had heard cries for help from the house last night. The woman didn't really understand what they were talking about. Rain, despite her father's pleas to stop, kept insisting that she had seen a girl in the attic the previous night. Danny McConnell kindly agreed to show them the attic. But there was nothing suspicious. John apologized to the teacher for his daughter's behavior. At home, Rain yelled at the father for not supporting her. John in turn shouted that there was no one in the attic. Apparently Rain's hallucinations had escalated. The girl cried, unable to understand why the parents didn't believe her. John and Michelle are just afraid that their daughter will be sent for involuntary treatment at a psychiatric clinic if something like this happens again. Soon Rain had an appointment with her psychotherapist. Unable to resist, she started searching the internet for information about missing girls. Dr. Ellen Pangloss urged Rain not to stop taking her medication, or else it would be administered involuntarily at the clinic. Rain is certain that her neighbor, Danny McConnell, is hiding a girl in her house. Of course, the doctor attributed this to another of Rain's obsessive thoughts. Sometimes her hallucinations are so vivid that it is indistinguishable from reality. Eventually Rain agreed with the doctor. It's quite possible that she was having an exacerbation of the disease. At home, Rain decided to cook dinner to please her parents. At school, the girl only talks to Caleb. By the way, this strange guy has neither social media accounts nor a cell phone. Being in a crowd makes Rain nervous. After bumping into Danny McConnell in the school cafeteria, the girl panicked and ran away. Caleb followed her outside. Seeing a police car, Rain thought the officers had come for her. Caleb found this idea ridiculous. When Rain claimed that her neighbor, the teacher, was a dangerous criminal, Caleb didn't know how to react. No one believes Rain, but despite everything, Caleb agreed to help her. The girl continues to search the internet for information about missing people. Her search was interrupted by a call from the psychotherapist, which Rain ignored. Moreover, she was going to skip the appointment. Rain and Caleb are growing closer. He made her a small gift, a pendant shaped like a neuron. It was a very sweet gesture. The teenagers began following Danny McConnell. Caleb didn't think it was a good idea to break into someone's house, but nothing could stop Rain. The attic was locked. Caleb wanted to leave, but Rain had other plans. She started searching the house for a screwdriver. Suddenly Danny McConnell returned. The teenagers hid, watching her. Then seizing the moment they fled. Caleb is growing increasingly uncomfortable with what's happening. John is renovating the daughter's room to remove any reminders of her last episode. Of course, it's hard for John to accept the fact that his beloved daughter will never be able to live a normal life. Having experienced hallucinations again, Rain began convincing herself that it wasn't real. And it helped. Michelle desperately wanted to understand what was going on in the daughter's mind. And was her friend Caleb even real? Rain doesn't know if he's real either. She just has no one else to talk to, and it's unbearable. Michelle worries that this might be harmful to the daughter's mental health. Rain truly wants to get better and is afraid of completely losing her mind. In any case, the parents will always be there for her. Later, Rain suggested to Caleb that they break into the teacher's house again. Caleb refused, suggesting they do something normal for a change. First the teens ate ice cream, and then went for a walk. For a while, Rain forgot about her illness and felt like an ordinary girl. Afterward, they went to the library, where they searched for information about missing persons. After a long search, Rain recognized that girl in one of the photos. Malia Robinson had gone missing back in January. It seemed to be a kidnapping. Rain was convinced they should immediately inform Malia's family, but Caleb wasn't sure rushing into things was a good idea. Seeing Alexa in the school hallway arguing on the phone and crying, Rain asked if everything was okay. Alexa told the former friend about problems with her parents, but when Rain tried to offer support, Alexa rejected the girl, calling her crazy. A crowd had gathered around to watch the scene. This was how Caleb learned about Rain's illness, but it didn't change how he felt about her. Rain found it unusual that one of the peers accepted her as she was. During their walk, Caleb asked Rain how her illness usually manifests. The girl explained that schizophrenia doesn't always involve split personalities, but she often experiences auditory and visual hallucinations. Caleb was understanding. In his opinion, Rain shouldn't be ashamed of her diagnosis because, for example, diabetics aren't ashamed of their illness. Michelle is proud of the daughter, who is trying her best. Anyone else in her shoes would have broken down long ago, but Rain is holding on. The father surprised her with the newly renovated room. The atmosphere was very cozy. However, Rain decided to stay in another room for now. That night, she dreamed of a peaceful forest through which she ran as a child. Rain woke up anxious. Hearing sobs, she found her mother crying. Michelle had been looking through old photos of the daughter and couldn't hold back her emotions. Rain understands that she is the reason for these tears. Hugging the daughter, Michelle told her that none of this was her fault. At school after class, Rain left something on the teacher's desk that made the woman uneasy. In the middle of the night, Caleb climbed through Rain's window and demanded to know why she was avoiding him. Rain honestly told Caleb that she thought he wasn't real because such wonderful people as him simply couldn't exist. Caleb assured that he wasn't a figment of her imagination. Suddenly they heard screams coming from the neighboring house. Caleb suggested calling the police, but Rain disagreed with him. If they were wrong, she'd be sent for involuntary treatment. The teenagers decided to break into the teacher's house and smashed a window. Danny McConnell spotted them and called the police, demanding that John send his daughter to the clinic. John really doesn't want to go that far. Rain had a serious conversation with the parents, who no longer know how to handle their daughter. John had to make a difficult decision, to send Rain for treatment. Michelle was adamantly opposed and refused to even discuss it. John began to suspect that the daughter was skipping her medication. A serious conflict erupted between them. Due to powerlessness, John became aggressive. He was genuinely sorry, but the daughter didn't accept his apology. At school, Rain told Caleb about her failure. She still doesn't know if her friend is real. That night, she saw Malia in the window across the street again. It seemed Caleb now had a phone, as they were texting. Caleb came at Rain's request. The teens tried to figure out how to save Malia without involving the police. Seeing how many medications Rain was taking, Caleb was shocked. The girl explained that the doctor kept changing her treatment plan, trying to find more effective medications. Time passed, but they still didn't have a plan. When Michelle walked in, she wasn't expecting to see anyone else but her daughter. Rain asked the mother in surprise if she really saw Caleb too. For some reason at this point, Caleb was embarrassed and hurried away. Moreover, he started ignoring Rain's messages. The next day, he didn't show up at school. Rain ran out of class, confused by what was happening. In the hallway, she ran into Danny McConnell, who was very concerned about the student's condition and wanted to take her to the school nurse. Rain panicked, ran outside and called home, but no one answered. She then went to her psychotherapist's office, but the doctor wasn't there. On the verge of a panic attack, Rain didn't realize how she ended up at the cemetery. The girl could no longer distinguish reality from hallucinations. Everywhere, she was haunted by terrifying images and voices. Even her home had ceased to be a safe place. Rain's reflection seemed to take on a life of its own. Unable to bear it, the girl smashed the mirror. Seeing that the daughter was about to harm herself, Michelle stopped her and hugged. But Rain broke free from Thray mother's embrace and went to her room, messaging Caleb. Michelle wanted to talk to her daughter. Rain in turn blamed the mother for everything. The girl didn't care if she was taken away for involuntary treatment, but she wouldn't stay home tonight. She was going to save Malia. John broke into his daughter's room and firmly told her to step away from the window. When he told her that her mother had actually passed away 3 years ago, Rain didn't want to believe it. All this time John had been playing along with the daughter, thinking it would help. But things had only gotten worse. He simply didn't know what else to do. Rain's grief over losing the mother had been so overwhelming that it drove her mad. John was also grieving very much for Michelle. Perhaps that's one reason he had kept up the charade all this time. When Rain had a breakdown, her father was about to call an ambulance. The girl ran away from home, running into Danny McConnell on the street, who kept repeating that Malia was long gone. In reality, it was just a figment of Rain's imagination. Nevertheless, she snuck into the teacher's house through the garage, where there was a dollhouse. Taking a screwdriver from the kitchen, Rain planned to break into the attic door. The call from her father went ignored. In the attic, the girl found Malia. Or was she not real? Rain couldn't be sure. 3 years ago, Michelle voluntarily passed away. Rain feels guilty, thinking the mother couldn't bear the weight of her illness. The girl is tired of being crazy. Suddenly, Danny McConnell returned. Rain was going to sneak out of the house unnoticed, but it wasn't going to be that easy. While Danny McConnell was having dinner, Rain quietly sneaked into the kitchen and took the keys, but she couldn't escape. So she hid in the basement, still hearing the voices. Suddenly, Rain's nightmare burst into reality once again. However, after pulling herself together, she looked around. Could Danny McConnell be keeping Malia here? Rain's suspicions were confirmed. Meanwhile, Danny McConnell suspected something amiss. After freeing Malia, Rain heard the teacher's voice as she came down. The girls hid, trying not to make a sound. However, Danny McConnell found Rain, acting as if Malia wasn't here. Or perhaps Malia didn't exist at all? Rain didn't know what to believe. Danny McConnell began convincing her that Malia, like Caleb, was just a figment of her imagination. Suddenly, Caleb attacked Danny McConnell from behind, telling Rain and Malia to run. While he held off the teacher, Rain carried Malia out of the basement. John was already here. Rain handed Malia over to him. The police had arrived. It turned out that not only Malia was real, but Caleb as well. The worst was over. Despite his injuries, Caleb was happy. Rain was undoubtedly crazy, but that's exactly what he liked about her. Some time later, John and his daughter visited Michelle's grave. It seemed the treatment had helped, and Rain was starting to recover. Finally, the girl was ready to return to her room. She hides from her father that she still sees her mother.